o'clock. Paula, do we have everybody we're expecting?
I think so. It looks like the mayor was I'm just trying to get us on YouTube right now. And I can't see, but I thought the mayor was muted.
I'm all set.
Okay. So we're good.
All right, so let's call the meeting to order. Do we have anybody that wants to make any public comments?
You know, I don't see Dina. Let me check the waiting room, make sure she's not sitting there. Wonder if she just forgot. Okay.
Nope. Okay. All right. No public comments? Nobody? Okay. I don't see anybody extra, so.
No, I don't have anyone else on. Michael and myself.
Okay. So can we get a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting of December 21st?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second that.
All right, Paula, can we do a roll call?
Yes. Appicelli,
Yes.
Freidenberg,
Yes.
Culpepper,
Yes.
Giesler.
Yes. All right. So those are approved. The minutes from the last meeting are approved. So moving on, the annual report. Mike, can we have
Yes.
you kind of lead us through this?
Absolutely. So with this annual report, this is something we do every year. Some of the members that have been on a while will definitely remember this one from years past, but really it's called out in the Planning Enabling Act is something that should be done. And then also too, RRC stays on us with this one just to make sure that we are given a recap for both the Planning Commission and then having that sent along to City Council just to keep them updated with what happened last year. I'll briefly go through this one. Obviously, because of COVID, we've really had to make a transition to having Zoom meetings versus in-person meetings. That's going to be referenced in our paragraph 2. There's been a slight change to our membership in 2020. Randy Martin and Jim Cherry were replaced by Jeff Giesler and Dina. So that's referenced in there. Master plan review. Now this is something that we go through every year. Obviously, we just hit this one pretty hard in September. I'm not going to go through every single action within this table here, but as part of the RRC program, they do want us to list in our action table just to kind of know where are we at. Have we been able to accomplish these goals, and what's really our priorities for 2021? As staff, I'm going to tell you, we've got obviously census. We're coming up with new census data coming out here pretty soon. That would be my recommendation is to, once that is available, spring 2021, update some of the demographic information, some of the basic statistics for the city itself. And then also too, just to kind of think about, in 2020, we put priorities down for trying to have the Planning Commission be more involved with other boards in the city. Be more involved with the DDA. Have maybe a subcommittee that talks about happenings with the school. We listed those as priorities for 2020. I think they're still relevant. I don't think we've necessarily been able to accomplish those. So I did just pretty much bump those up and say, hey, I recommend that these are the priorities for 2021. And if there is something else that the Planning Commission thinks should be more of a priority, this is the time to talk about it. When I get done just going through the other portions of it, I'll turn it back over so we can kind of talk about what other priorities might be from you folks. But moving along past the master plan, zoning ordinance amendments, we had 2. One would be we at the beginning of the year in 2020 we amended the marijuana language to allow for micro businesses, and another we did talk about opening up the potential for having outdoor seating for certain types of businesses within the city. That was another amendment that was accomplished about I think September is when it was finally approved by City Council. Development reviews, this is anything from special use permit to site plan review. We had 3 of them. The Liskey initial micro business turned to marijuana retailer was one. The other marijuana business at 101 Lang Street, or I apologize, at 105 East Grand River would also count as a development review. And then finally, the Jake Smith Expert Lawn and Snow located at Lang and Crum. And that wraps it up for development review. Zoning map, we have to call these out too. Any kind of amendments to the ordinance or rezonings. We had 2 last year, including the Jake Smith property at Lang Street and Crum. And then also to the most recent one with Palazzolo and his property on Grand River. Working with Joe currently right now on the site plan review process. We'll probably be getting an application in within the next week or 2. And then finally, just to kind of wrap up any other kind of major activities within the city, you can't forget to include the amphitheater project at McClintock Park. Definitely wanted to get that one in there. That's a big one. Yeah, and that really wraps up the report from my aspect. The rest is just going to be turned over to you folks to talk about it a little bit more. And then finally, what we'll need here is a motion and a recommendation to pass this along to City Council at their next meeting. So any questions for me on this report right now?
So did you write this, or were you instrumental in putting this together? So
Yep.
anything you see that we need to focus on, or maybe we should look at doing?
Sure, and this is going to be addressed a little bit later on too, but within the past couple years of putting these reports together, we always talk about how we want to have more training for the Planning Commission. I think that this is something Paul has been really working on too, as far as with the our RRC resources at the state, finding training for folks to do, and then also too. There's been some talk about me running you through kind of a mock special use permit review or site plan review to kind of just get a better feeling for what you would want to look for in those. So I think that we will be doing that throughout pretty soon here in this year. But really the training was the biggest thing I've seen. Besides that, I think we've been doing pretty well. I mean, handling things as they come. The marijuana uses were a total new thing this year. I thought we were pretty thoughtful in the way it was assessed, and we're making sure that people are doing the right thing. So, yeah. Sorry, Jeff, I can't hear you if you're
I was
talking
muted.
there.
And I was, yeah. Anybody else have any questions or things we think we need to look at? Paula, on here, next thing is trainings. Is that what Mike was just talking about on the agenda?
Before we move on, we would like a motion to
No, I wasn't.
make that motion.
Yeah, I was just
Oh,
more
okay.
asking if that's what it was. No, I wasn't ready to move on yet.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear all of what you said. I just heard training. I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah. No. And so yeah. So the next thing is the future trainings. Is that what Mike was just talking about?
Yeah, we through the RRC program, every year we got to track all of these permits and stuff that Mike was talking about, and we also need to track trainings because they want to make sure that we're not just putting people on boards and that they don't have some kind of idea what they're supposed to be doing. And there's all kinds of trainings available. I have not been exactly successful in getting you folks there, so my thought is that we bring it to you. So that's where I had talked to Mike probably 6 months ago about us doing something, and then with all the things we've had going on, it's been hard to get that in. And then on top of that, the RRC people myself, Mike, any of us could kind of do some trainings on whatever you guys think is necessary. So I think that, if through whether it's tonight or another night, I would kind of like to keep training like at the top of people's lists so that if there's something that we could do better to teach you guys what needs to be done or what you should be looking at, that I think that that's our goal here. It's not just to check a box and get everybody to training, but so that everybody understands what's in our ordinance and when we're asking you to approve something, what we're asking you to approve.
Well, I, for one, being new on this committee, am kind of flying, not blind, but with covers over my eyes to a certain degree. So that would be helpful for me. So let's go back before we fall out of the annual report. Anybody, any other questions, comments, things that we think we need to look at?
I think the only thing that I'm wondering about, I mean, we've talked about having people at the other meetings, for the other committees. And I think that maybe got hindered a bit with all of the COVID things happening. That might be something to look at. I'm sure that we could make it happen where somebody can attend the Zoom meetings for those other things. That seems like it'd be a pretty easy thing to make happen.
I think one of the things that we had was that Jim Cherry was on the school board. So that, that was kind of a piece that was good, but we don't, so now we probably need somebody to step up and, go to school board meetings or listen in or read the minutes and, brief us on what's going on there. And then, Mike and myself, Culpepper, we attend the DDA meetings. And so and then, now we have Dina and Mike that are both on city council. So I think that we do still kind of have that, but it would be nice if we said, hey, so what's going on at the DDA or the LBCA or the business district or whatever, what are we thinking about here? What do we need? So I know that, we've talked about populating downtown, like with residences, we need some housing so that we can get a bigger density down there. That's one of the things. And, I think that's something the school would agree with as well. So I think that those are things that we could have those conversations. So I think that was just the intent, was to kind of keep everybody on the same page. But I think that would probably be the missing link right now, would be the school.
Okay.
Unless you guys can think of some other organization, but I think that would be a big one.
Am I the only one out there that has no screen?
We can see you.
You
Yeah,
can
we can
see
see-
me?
We can.
Yeah,
Huh, I can hear you, but I can't see nothing.
that's funny. We can see you just fine. So your camera's working one way anyway.
That's weird. It just zipped out and I thought maybe we had technical difficulties, but maybe it's me. So
So that's all, that's all I would have to say about that. That would still be great if somebody wanted to step up and attend school board meetings or, something. And if there's some other organization that you guys think of, there's no reason we can't be a part of something. Sleepy Hollow Trails, I don't know, whatever else is out there.
Right, yep. Okay, so I have okay, this may be a stupid question and I apologize in advance. But in terms of utilities like electric and sewer, if somebody were to come along and want to add another subdivision, are we involved in that at all?
Absolutely.
Okay,
100%.
I'd have been surprised if we weren't, but and are we?
You would be, and, there would be a lot of involvement from the planning commission. We also would have the engineers involved on that. And then we would get reports that, they would help us with, but the planning commission would have phases that they would have to approve and site plan reviews, and they would have to, that whole checklist of things that we get for, like we had for the marijuana shops, it would be the same way for a development of residential units or subdivisions.
And with those things, do we think we're in pretty good shape now?
With our checklists, you mean?
No,
Or-
with the sewers and the electric and all those other things. I mean, we don't have any impending thing that, boy, if we had another house, we're gonna blow up the sewer.
No, the sewer has a lot more capacity. I can't remember what the number is, but I know that there would be no, I mean, depending on where they went, they may have to put in a lift station. They would, tap into our system and they would, but we have a lot of capacity in our ponds out there. So.
Okay. All right, anything else on the annual report? Any other questions or comments that somebody wants to make? Can we get a motion would we approve it? Would we?
I make a
I make a-
motion to send it up to city council for their review and acceptance.
I second that.
Sorry.
Paula, roll call?
The second was Freidenberg.
And Appicelli.
Oh, okay. So I got a third. All right. Appicelli,
Yes.
Freidenberg,
Yes.
Culpepper,
Yes,
Geisler.
Yes.
All righty.
Okay.
And that's to recommend the annual report, which is, are there 2 reports, Mike?
Yes, so
Okay.
yeah, so what I did this year was put in our action table for the master plan stuff just to kind of have it all in one place, but the master plan will be put into another memo and it just kind of and then the items that we identified as being, important within the master plan, I'm going to call those out in that memo as being our priorities for 2021. From what I put out there are the obviously the kind of intertwining the planning commission with other boards. What we talked about as far as the school board, having Jim Cherry being gone, having another planning commission member doing that. And then also to updating the demographic data on the actual master plan itself as being the big priorities for 21. If we feel good with that, that's how I'll write the memo.
so should I rescind that motion and declare to send both to city
Well, I
council?
kind of thought that's what you did was send both. So the
Okay.
report that Mike gave. So I was
Okay.
just verifying for my minutes what I needed to put in there.
All right,
As long as you agree with that.
I'm fine with that.
All righty.
Okay. Next on the agenda, future training. Did you cover that pretty much, Paula?
I think we did. I mean, I don't need a motion on it or anything. I just kind of wanted to talk about it, get it on the table, and then, even if we put it back on there for next time and everybody kind of comes back and says, I'd like to know more about this. I mean, do we want to know more about one of the things I thought of was just like going through a scenario where, say we put in a subdivision, here's what you would have to look at, or you guys have already done a couple, but I'm not really sure that we all understand what we're looking at sometimes, So if if we're doing an ordinance on the tables and chairs for outside, we want to make sure that everybody understands what we're approving. And then we have a checklist that things just have to meet. There's certain things that are in the ordinance. And so we can review chapters, we can go through, scenarios. I think those are great things, but if there's other things, you guys want to learn about, the Planning Enabling Act or Open Meetings Act, or, the housing situation in Shiawassee County, whatever, we can do trainings on anything. So I can get our RRC people here, I can get Justin Horvath here. Mike and I have some things we could train you on, and all of that counts. And I think all they want is to see that, we're keeping everybody up to date.
That would be good.
Would it be feasible, Paula, to incorporate some training into a regular meeting at the end?
Oh yeah, or one, if we don't have anything on our docket that night, we'll
Right,
just have our training at our meeting. I mean, I think that the plan is to make it work for everybody. And obviously that's why I'm having this meeting tonight on, my day off, because
Right.
it's just easier to not change the date. We start changing the date, then I don't get a quorum, so I think that if we can hold meetings and have our training on our meeting night and we keep it to an hour or under, I think that, that's good.
Well, I think
We
it's
did
more
2 or
beneficial that way than scheduling
Yeah.
another night. So, yeah.
If we did a couple of those a year or whatever, and I think we can do that. There's some months when we're like, oh, we don't need to meet. Well, maybe instead of saying that, we should say, well, it's a training night.
That makes sense to me.
Yep, me too.
Sounds like a great plan.
Awesome.
All right. Sounds like it's in motion. So,
Perfect.
Yeah, I guess just think about what's giving you guys some heartburn. Yeah, if there's anything, since you've been on this board that you've gone through that you don't feel super comfortable about at the end of the day, if you feel like you want to know more, send us an email. I mean, Paula's going to get in touch with me. You've got my email. We can put something together or find somebody to come to the meeting to make it happen.
We could do pizza, but sorry, we can't meet in person.
no, we're not meeting in person. I'm going to tell you that now. I'm not coming. So,
Fine. Fine with me.
All right. Next on the agenda, are we done with training? You
Yes.
good with that?
Yep.
All right. Joint meeting. Is
So
this-
this is another requirement of the RC, that, we have like an annual joint training, like, so the city council, the DDA, the planning commission, all kind of get together and talk about something. I mean, we could do a training that way. We could do, we could talk about how we want to proceed with the amphitheater. We could talk about what's important to all of us. I mean, more than just putting a check mark in a box, I do think it's important. What the last one we had was our fit assessment, and it was great. Everybody loved it. And I feel like it was very successful, and it could include the public. It doesn't have to, we can do whatever we want. But right now what I'm thinking I'd like to see is some sort of grand opening plan for the amphitheater, and get all of our committees involved as to what they would like to see. And then maybe everybody attend. We call it a quick 15-minute meeting before, and everybody, socializes. And I mean, that counts. But I also think it's really good for everybody to do that.
Yeah, I like that idea. About, meeting about a grand opening plan for the amphitheater. That's kind of a nice way to cap it off.
So I think that right now we're kind of working along that lines a little bit, that we want to do sort of a big hoopla grand opening. So kind of working with the DDA, and we got a little park and rec committee that we're kind of put together too. And I think that we could have a session, in the next couple of months where we talk a little bit, all of those committees, and we could do a Zoom, because that's probably what's going to happen at this point. I don't know. But whatever, I think that it doesn't have to be anything. We don't have to be something elaborate like the fit assessment, but our joint meeting could be planning it, or our joint meeting could be that kickoff night. So
Are you thinking
whatever
March
you
or
guys-
April, Paula?
yeah, I think we should, probably the kickoff, we want to make sure it's good weather for the amphitheater. So I know right now, it kind of sounds like the first thing on our docket might be a spring play for the school. And it may not be our actual grand opening, but I told the teacher, the drama teacher, that as far as I'm concerned, they had whatever date they want, because those kids have not been able to do anything in public, and to have a live
Absolutely.
audience outside at that new amphitheater, that's exactly, at least that's my opinion, exactly what we want our community to do.
I'll second that.
So we're excited about it. She was just super excited. She goes, well, I don't know what date to pick. I'm like, you pick whatever date you want and we'll make it work. So, I mean,
Well, just
It's
got a
not easy.
reminder though, she doesn't want that weekend of the carnival.
well, I think it'll be before then.
Okay.
So
I was gonna say that's just
Yeah.
the biggest thing there. Somebody asked about them weekends.
no, I think it's going to be before that. So
And let's hope we can have some of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that too, but
We're not quite there, but hopefully we're getting closer.
Yep.
But that's all I had on that, was that I would kind of like to do something, as a group for the amphitheater.
Okay, well,
So,
I think you have a bunch of yays from here, from this group, so.
all right, so we'll get something figured out and we'll pick somebody's meeting night and do it that night. So whether it's city council night, DDA night, or our night, so we'll pick something and do a group Zoom meeting.
Sounds good.
Okay, good, good. All right, next on the list is other. So I have two things real quick, kind of going back. School board, I'll do some research and find out like when school board meets and I'm assuming they're doing Zoom and those type of things and.
I think they meet the third Wednesday.
Okay,
I think you're correct.
so I'll see what I can find and.
Awesome.
We can figure out, I mean, for sure, and to get the Zoom and I don't want to volunteer to go, but maybe I will. So. And the other thing, the next meeting, this just on a personal note, the next meeting in February, I probably won't be able to attend this. I will be up snowmobiling and I don't know if I have a good enough internet to be able to Zoom in. So,
Okay.
just a FYI. So, anything else?
Thank you.
Anything that anybody has?
We do still need another member for the planning commission. If anybody has talked to anyone or has any ideas, I don't think the mayor has found somebody
Not-
yet, but
Not yet. I do need you to network out to your friends or people you know, because I only know so many people and only have so many phone numbers. And if I don't see them, I can't ask them. And I've been turned down by a couple. So we go
Have-
from there.
I have an idea. I'll talk to him.
Yeah, I have somebody too. I'll talk to him.
Good. That's what we need, to network out with some people, because I don't know everybody in town, but all of us do know everybody. And we put each other together with who we know everybody in town. It's just a matter of 8 or 9 of us knowing it. So that's
depends
great.
on who you go through.
That's right. So you're only 6 people away from knowing everybody in the world. And that's really more true than you know.
Oh, yeah.
I have, okay, another stupid question. Do they have to be a US citizen to be on the planning commission?
oh dear.
Hey, Mike.
I believe so, but I'm not going to take that position.
I'll check into that for everybody. Couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
The guy I was thinking of is from Canada, eh? So, I don't,
Oh.
okay,
Well, the big
anything
thing
else?
is, are they a resident of our community?
Oh, yeah, no, they live here in town.
Well,
Yep.
that's a step up. So,
Yep.
I
Yep.
mean,
Yep.
we'll go from there and see what we got.
Wow, okay.
Because I don't think you don't have to be a registered, Langsberg resident to be on the planning commission. We can have people that don't live in the city on the planning commission.
Right. So if
I mean,
they
we have Dean. Dean's on the planning commission, and he lives out at well, now he lives downtown, but he did live at Lake Victoria when we put him on.
All right, anything
Okay.
else?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Second.
second it.
Kelly.
We good?
That always goes fast.
Yeah. I never hear anybody say, wait a minute, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hey, we don't have training ready to go? All
I
right.
should have.
But that's exactly the point that I think we all should look at. We've been here 30 minutes. We took care of the business we need. We have 30 minutes to stay within an hour to have training if we
Yep.
had something set up. And
Absolutely.
And actually, if we can reach, and my thought would be, Paula, is if we have something in our hat that we can pull out at a moment's notice where we find out we have a month that's open where we could convert it into training that afternoon or the night before or
Sure.
whatever, it'd be
Yeah.
great.
And
That way
Yeah, I think
everybody's-
that's what Mike and I are going to work on once we're for sure what you guys want. But I mean, I think, we've got some
Yeah.
good ideas. So
Yep,
I
that's
agreed
what
with
we've
what
been
you said
talking
earlier.
about. So
I agreed with what you said earlier, Mike. I'd rather do it on the same night as opposed to a different night, if possible. I mean,
Well,
It's
yes,
not
not,
possible.
you know, some have.
That was
some
our
have-
intent.
Yeah,
Yep.
some have lots of meetings, some have no meetings, and, you know, it's just one less meeting for anybody that isn't so booked, Paula or otherwise, makes it easier. So,
yep. All right.
sounds
Well-
like they got a plan, so. Well, I'll see why I don't have a screen.
Well, we can see you, so.
I can't see nothing but a black screen on mine, and it does not make me happy because, you know, I had to buy this when COVID started. Because my other one burned out, and now I'm looking at a black screen. I'm going, oh no,
You didn't click
Well,
on a
some-
different screen.
I
or-
didn't touch a thing, so it just
Okay.
went black. So
Yeah.
I'll probably have to shut it all down hard drive.
Oh dear.
All right,
Yep.
everybody have a good evening.
You
All right,
too,
good
everyone.
luck.
See ya. Bye,
good one.
thanks.
Bye now.
Bye.